They've already sunk one giant. Now, an entire kingdom is waiting. Norway didn't just eliminate Brazil, they shattered one of football's oldest myths, the myth that 5 World Cup stars can protect you when the pressure reaches its highest point. They couldn't. Brazil fell. Haaland celebrated. The Viking oars came out once again, and suddenly, the entire football world stopped laughing at Norway, because something changed after that final whistle. Norway was no longer the underdog. They became the team nobody wanted to face. But here's the cruel part about the World Cup. The tournament never gives you time to celebrate. It immediately asks a new question. Can you do it again? Because eliminating Brazil earns headlines. Eliminating England earns history. That's the mountain now standing in front of Norway. An England side that has quietly grown stronger with every knockout round. A team filled with stars. A team that knows exactly what happened to Brazil, and perhaps more importantly, a team determined not to become the next victim. This isn't just another quarterfinal. This is the moment every Cinderella story eventually reaches, the chapter where belief collides with expectation, and expectation usually hits harder. But Norway has something no statistic can measure: momentum, not the kind created by winning matches. The kind created by changing how people think. Before Brazil, opponents respected Norway. After Brazil, opponents fear them. That changes everything. Because fear creates hesitation, and hesitation is exactly where Erling Haaland lives. Watch him closely. He doesn't spend matches chasing defenders. He waits, he studies, he lets the game breathe. Then, when one defender switches off for half a second, the punishment arrives. Brazil discovered that. England spent the last 48 hours studying it. Every analyst, every coach, every defender, watching the same clips over and over. The movement, the timing, the header, the finish. Trying to solve a puzzle that keeps producing the same answer. And here's the terrifying truth. Everyone knows what Haaland wants to do. Very few teams actually stop him. That's because Haaland's greatest weapon isn't strength, it isn't speed, it isn't finishing, it's certainty. He never looks rushed, never looks desperate. He plays as though he already knows the chance is coming. Eventually. That's a frightening mentality, because while defenders become anxious, he becomes calmer. Meanwhile, England arrives carrying a completely different emotion. Relief. They survived. They advanced, but unlike Norway, they didn't shock the tournament. They simply fulfilled expectations. That creates a strange psychological battle. England has more pressure, Norway has more freedom. England has more stars, Norway has more momentum. England has more history, Norway has the hottest striker on the planet. Which matters more? That's the question nobody can answer. And that's exactly why this match feels so enormous. But football has another layer. Most fans never notice. Energy. Look at Norway after the Brazil match, the celebrations, the smiles, the famous Viking rowing celebration. It wasn't just joy, it was unity. 11 players moving together, one rhythm, one identity, one message. We're still here. Those oars weren't simply celebrating Brazil's elimination, they were announcing that Norway believes this journey is far from over. Now imagine what happens if they row again. Not after eliminating Brazil, after eliminating England. Suddenly it won't be remembered as a celebration. It will become a symbol of this World Cup. A symbol every remaining nation hopes they never have to watch again. That's how legends begin, not with trophies, with moments, with images, with celebrations that become unforgettable. England understands that, because England isn't just trying to stop Haaland, they're trying to stop a story, and stories are dangerous. The longer they survive, the stronger they become. Just ask Morocco in 2022. Just ask Croatia in 2018. Every World Cup eventually creates one team that starts believing destiny is wearing its colors. The scary part? Norway is beginning to look exactly like that team. But destiny has a brutal habit. It always demands one final test, not against the weakest opponent, against one of the strongest, England. A squad built to win, a nation desperate to end decades of waiting, players who know that one mistake against Haaland could erase an entire tournament. So here's the real question. Did Norway already achieve its miracle? Or was Brazil simply the beginning? Because if they somehow eliminate England too, then the conversation changes forever. No one will ask whether Norway can win another match. They'll start asking something much bigger. Who exactly is going to stop them? Here is the dangerous part. Norway does not look surprised anymore. Against Brazil, they played like a team that believed the upset was possible. Against England, they will play like a team that believes the World Cup is possible. That is a completely different kind of monster. Because once an underdog stops acting like an underdog, every opponent begins to feel the pressure. England will have the ball. England will have the names. England will probably have more control. But Norway has something colder, a clear identity. Defend together, wait together, strike together, and when the moment comes, find Haaland. Simple football becomes terrifying when the final piece is the most ruthless striker on earth. That is what England must solve. Not for 10 minutes, not for one half, for every second, because Brazil defended him for long stretches, then blinked, and the tournament changed. That is the nightmare now living inside England's preparation. One cross, one mistake, one lost duel, 1 second of silence. And Haaland can turn months of work into regret. But this match is bigger than Haaland. It is about what Norway has become around him. The defenders suffer without complaining. The midfield runs without stopping. The wide players wait for exactly the right moment. No one tries to be the hero, because Norway already has one. That humility is powerful. It creates a team where every player understands the mission, and World Cups are often won by teams that understand themselves better than anyone else. England, meanwhile, carries a heavier burden. Every tournament begins with belief. Every knockout match brings ghosts. The pressure of expectation, the weight of history, the fear of another painful ending, and now they face a team that just eliminated Brazil. That matters, because even if England says the right things, even if the players insist they are calm, the image is already there. Haaland rising, Brazil falling, Norway rowing. That image follows them into the match, and images can become pressure before the ball even moves. This is where the psychological battle begins. If England scores first, Norway will be tested. If Norway scores first, England will feel the stadium tighten, and if the match reaches the final 20 minutes level, everyone will know exactly what is coming. The camera will look for Haaland. The defenders will look for Haaland. The entire world will look for Haaland. And somehow that may still not be enough. That is the terrifying beauty of this Norwegian run. Everyone understands the danger. Nobody has fully escaped it. Brazil had 5 stars. It did not matter. England has talent everywhere. It may not matter. Because knockout football does not care about reputation. It cares about moments. Norway has been stealing moments from giants. Now they want another one, and if they get it. The Viking. Rowing celebration will become something far bigger than a celebration. It will become a warning, a symbol, a nightmare image for every team left in the tournament. First Brazil, then England. Who next? That is the question no contender wants to hear. Because stories like this become stronger the longer they survive. At first, people call it luck. Then they call it momentum. Then they call it destiny. Norway is standing exactly between momentum and destiny. England is the gate, Haaland is the key. And the World Cup is waiting to see whether this was just one unforgettable upset or the beginning of something historic. By the final whistle, one truth will be impossible to ignore. Either England ends the story or Norway rose deeper into legend.